A disappearance during the approach.
WhiteStar 761, do you copy?
The investigation opens several theories.
We lost it. We lost engine number 2.
But it's listening to the voice recorder.
Yeah, it wasted a lot of time.
Let an answer appear to the investigators.
Hail straight ahead!
Positive rate?
You're up.
Shortly after 6 p.m., WhiteStar Airways International Flight 761 takeoff from Shaw Airport.
Flaps up.
At 31 years old, First Officer Ryan Wills have a total of 7,500 flight hours.
Flaps up.
Captain Terry Evans have a total of 12,000 flight hours at 44 years old.
It was a fairly experienced crew on board.
On this flight, First Officer Wills is in command. 32 passengers and 6 crew members took place on board. The flight to Mountains Airport should take around 50 minutes. The pilots are flying a RL-42 of 3 years.
The RL-42 is a turboprop plane, really appreciated for regional airlines. Its sizes make it to be able to land in almost every airport in the world.
Half an hour later, the plane is at 37 nautical miles of his destination at an altitude of 16,000 feet.
I think this is time to call the ATC to start the descent.
Okay.
15 minutes before the arrival time, the captain contacts the air traffic controller of Mountains Airport.
WhiteStar 761, you can start your descent to 9,000 feet. Expect an approach Tango
To Foxtrot runway 29.
Call me back at 9,000 feet when crossing Tango.
We are descending to 9,000 feet. We are expecting runway 29. Calling you at Tango 761. Passengers, this is your captain speaking. Now start our approach into Mountains Airport.
The plane will approach runway 29, using waypoints located on his path.
Mountains Airport is located in a difficulty to access area, making approaches difficult. Waypoints are used in those areas to facilitate approaches provided they are used correctly.
We're reaching 9,000.
Roger.
WhiteStar 761, now at Tango 9,000 feet. 761, roger. Report when reaching waypoint Delta.
Waypoint Delta 761.
Okay, for Delta, arrival time 15 minutes.
It has now been 15 minutes since the pilots of Flight 761 gave their last position,
WhiteStar 761, do you copy?
and the air traffic controller tries in vain to contact the crew, but the plane appears to have disappeared without a trace.
This is an emergency. An Aero 42 carrying 38 people went missing approximately 15 minutes ago. Search team required.
Delta Alpha Romeo 901 on our way.
The search continues near the last known point of the plane, up to the runway threshold, but the plane remains nowhere to be found. The next day, the ATC of Mountains Airport received a call.
Yes? Okay, so where is he now? Okay, thank you. So close to main airport.
The plane is almost 13 kilometers from Mountains Airport, off the planned route. All 38 people on board died. Investigators from the Transportation Safety Board, TSB, are tasked to discover the reasons for this unusual accident. They recover the 2 flight recorders, send them to their headquarters at Main City. Then they examine the crash site. They first start with the distribution of debris to find out in which position the plane crashed. And it appears that the plane was intact and congered for landing. But then why did the plane crash on a hill so far from its initial route? While awaiting for the extraction of Flight 761 recorders, investigators are exploring several hypotheses that could explain the cause of the crash. They're looking for the possibility of an engine failure.
What was that?
Wait, we are losing engine. We lost it. We lost engine number 2.
We're going down.
I control.
We're in charge.
Did one of the engines fail, causing the plane into a course change towards crashing?
Hill straight ahead!
But after analysis, this hypothesis was quickly rejected.
The propeller blades clearly showed that both engines of the plane were running before impact, so it was a dead end for investigators.
Data from the flight recorders has been extracted. They will perhaps give the cause of the crash, which caused the death of 38 people, to investigators. It has now been 4 months since WhiteStar Airways International Flight 761 crashed into a hill. Investigators will now be able to listen to the CVR at the start of the approach.
We are expecting runway 29. Calling you at Tango 761. I hate approach Tango.
Yeah, it wastes a lot of time.
You know what? I know how to save some time.
How?
By deleting some waypoints in the computer, of course.
The investigators can't believe what they're hearing. The crash would therefore be due to a deliberate action on the part of the captain. Wanting to save time, the captain deletes certain crucial waypoints.
We don't need a computer anyway, since I've flown this route many times.
By analyzing the FDR, the investigators make an unbelievable discovery.
761.
After reaching his waypoint Delta, the captain needs to put back a waypoint that he had deleted to save time. Waypoint Mike, but instead, he puts by mistake the point Miles located behind him. The plane follows the new waypoint and descend. Investigators continue to listen to the CVR for a reaction from the crew.
Alright, before landing checklist. SAPS 25. Landing gear down. Speed brakes armed, gear lights on.
But neither pilot appears to have noticed the course change. It's now have been 5 minutes that the plane continues to descend. The last minute of recording will be decisive for the investigators.
Captain! Hill straight ahead!
They are surprised not to have heard the GPWS. The GPWS, or Ground Proximity Warning System, is an onboard equipment used to warn pilots that their aircraft is getting too close to the ground. A new question remains unanswered. Why was the GPWS not triggered, which could save the lives of the 38 people on board? By examining the maintenance log, they find they answer. The GPWS has been disabled earlier in the day due to a technical problem. Investigators now know what led to the crash of WhiteStar Airways Flight 761. On May 1995, 5 months after the crash, the TSB published their report incriminating the captain, who followed an unauthorized procedure, but also a failure of the GPWS which could have avoided the accident. Finally, the lack of radar at Mountains Airport played a role in the crash. Days after the report was released, WhiteStar Airways International filed for bankruptcy, and investigators hope that an accident like Flight 761 will not happen again in the future.